Hello, I'm Bruce Zimmerman, and this is the Open Line Garden Show podcast for this week. Now, got an email saying we'd like to have our office smell better. And I'm assuming that this means that the air conditioning's been on and it's been a while since the place has been aired out, and they just want to make it smell better. Well, a couple of things we need to do. So we can help clean the air using plants, but we should also take a look and see if the maintenance is being done on the air conditioning. Simply because if it's not, then often you do get that smell. So with the heavy use of the air conditioners we've been experiencing this past summer, probably that would be the first step. Now, the second step is to try and remove pollutants from the air. It's a fairly sealed environment. And being a sealed environment, the research was done by NASA and the American Landscape Association many years ago on how to get rid of pollutants from the air. Now, when you're looking at pollutants, you're looking at things that are occurring in our everyday life that you want to get rid of. And let's just say we'll give you some sources in the pollutants that houseplants and their related soil can actually remove from the air. Now, benzene is the first one, and you get a source of benzene from gasoline, ink, oils, paints, plastics, rubber, and detergents, explosive pharmaceuticals, and dyes. Okay, so you know darn well that those are sources. Okay, so you want to get rid of those, and it's important. Now, with trichloroethylene, which is another one, it's from dry cleaning, degreasing, again, printing, inks, paints, lacquers, varnishes, adhesives, okay? And it's related to cancer, by the way, this particular chemical. So hopefully they're not in the environment. Also, what you will find is formaldehyde. Now, formaldehyde, we all know, we seem to be aware of this one. But the sources for it are presswood products, all that inexpensive furniture, the glues from that, and particle board. You're looking at grocery bags, the plastic ones, wax papers, facial tissues, paper towels, who hasn't got all of those, and urea formaldehyde resins. Now, you've also got some household cleaners. You've got stiffeners, wrinkle resistors in clothing, water repellents, fire retardants, adhesive binders. Now, this is the big one. From floor coverings, carpets, and the backing, as well as permanent press clothes. So, you've got all of those, and cigarette smoke. Got that one? Heating, cooking fuels, and natural gas and kerosene. Now, that means pretty well everybody is exposed to this particular one. It can cause headaches, throat cancer, and many other diseases and things and health issues. So we can use plants, and this is what the NASA study decided they could do, because they were testing it for long-term spaceflight. Okay? That's the reason that it was actually done. And they used plants growing in soil, in chambers, where they actually put the actual chemical in and, of course, grew the plants on, and they could measure the best plants to remove each of these different chemicals. It's so important that you realize that that's exactly what's going to happen here. Now, if you're going after trichloroethylene, okay, you want to probably use the best one, which is the Gerbera daisies. Now, that means you got flowers in your office that when they get a little over past it, get rid of them and bring in new ones, right? And it gives you color and everybody is happier and cheerier. But you can also use a little more permanent plants, such as the peace lily, okay, that everybody knows, the Spathiphyllum with the white flowers. You can use Dracaena marginata, which a lot of people use in offices. And probably the next one I would use is Dracaena determinus Janet Craig. Those are the top cleaners for that particular chemical. Now, if you're going after benzene, the best plant, believe it or not, is the Gerbera daisy. So, good one. What's the next best plant? Pot mums, flowers. The next one is, of course, one of my favorite plants, mother-in-law's tongue, which is Sansevieria. The next one down on the list actually is, of course, Spathiphyllum. So you can start closing these in. Now, are you going to, with all these plants, completely clean the air? Probably not. So in other words, dusting, vacuuming, having the maintenance done on the air conditioning and heating units are important. So it's just not one thing. But again, we can put these plants in and they will really help to clean the air. For formaldehyde, there's a lot of plants that you could use. You could use banana trees, but most people really don't have the light in their offices, though they should probably, to grow bananas. But mother-in-law's tongue again comes right up at the top of the list, along with bamboo palm, which is another low-light palm, which does very well in an office situation. Just be careful of the person who likes to overwater or sit a plant in water for the weekend. That plant will not tolerate it. Of course, most plants won't tolerate it at any case. Remember Janet Craig determinus? You know, the Dracaena determinus? Definitely a good one. So here's a couple of the ones that you can use. Spider plants, as simple as they are, as easy as they are to grow, is a good one to get rid of formaldehyde. So what you'll find is by using these plants or a combination thereof, you can add color to your office, you can be cleaning the air, and I think the overall atmosphere in an office will be improved by the plants. But most people don't really realize this. And when they do put them in, they use those plants, but they don't use enough of them so that people don't feel the effect of them. They got one little plant over here and maybe one plant over there. And it really doesn't do a great job. Now, one of the results from this test proved that soil and the natural microorganisms that are in the soil and particularly on the soil surface actually cleans the air the best of all of the plants. So, exposed soil, forget that bark mulch, forget putting things over top of the soil. You need it exposed to the air to do the best job possible to clean the actual air and the pollutants from it. Now that we are not allowed to smoke in an office place, that really helps too, to get rid of a lot of the pollutants that fall into this category. But we still have a lot of furniture, glues, dyes, carpets, etc. So in order to keep them down, keep them clean. And don't forget to dust your plants. Because when you don't dust your plants, they don't get as much light. And when they're not getting as much light, they're not doing as much work. They're not growing well. They're not keeping good leaves. And the result is they're not doing as good a job as they could to clean the air. So, clean plants, clean office, good maintenance on the heating and air conditioning, but plants that will actually help you to be more upbeat, more honest, and feel like you're working in a better environment. I'm Bruce Zimmerman. This is the Open Line Garden Show podcast for this week.